Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, with special thanks to Revenant, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Icestormshadow, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3. As we pick up where we left off last time, tie up a few quick loose ends around the base, and then officially begin the third and final act of the campaign, the hunt for Liberty Buchanan. Now, I will say, there are some rumors about potential expansions or DLC in the works, but we've got no real time frame or even confirmation about that just
yet. Have you thought any more about what I said? I thought about arresting you for it, but for the sake of argument, where would this successor of Saul's come from?
Oh no, you won't catch me out that way. I told you I'd make no suggestions, but I suppose it'd be safe to tell you who I wouldn't suggest.
Go on.
Well, not his children, obviously, but also no one from the 100 families. Too much infighting. And not Daisy either. Governing needs subtlety, and Daisy is as subtle as a kick in the balls.
You've just ruled out every piece on the board. Who else is there?
I'm sure I don't know. Just look around you. You'll find someone. I have faith in you.
Well, that's intriguing. At face value, it almost seems like he is not so subtly implying that the Rangers should be the successors to the Patriarch's rule. But unfortunately, that's just not an option since we don't have full support from the Marshals. But you could also take that to mean that he's implying that Sergei, that Greatsky, might actually be a sufficient ruler as well, unless you lump him in with the Marshals, which I don't think technically he is. Anyway, obviously we did find Reagan. He is in the mainframe in the war room, as opposed to on display in the trophy room.
Who turned out the lights? What's happening?
What's happening?
Did the commies win? What's happening?
What's happening?
Did the commies win?
I actually feel kind of bad for him, but really, what were our other options? Short of sticking him in some hapless kid's brain, there was never going to be a happy ending for that guy. Rangers rule. Why, thank you.
You two want a pair of scissors? Anything else?
A towel, a chair,
A straight razor.
and a laundry bag. Sorry, 2 laundry bags.
Ha!
We're serious.
Ha ha!
Personal grooming is important to me.
Ha ha ha!
Well, I mean, you can kind of see where Hope's coming from.
Priscilla Reed always used to pick on me, so I don't really care.
I heard you found some of the Patriarch's enemies in a black site under Broadmoor. A black site. That's worrisome, don't you think? Well, to be fair, they're not there anymore. And it seems unlikely he'll keep using that site now, so, problem solved?
Valor's an arrogant, condescending prig.
but he hasn't given me any trouble. Hopefully, some time in here will help him reflect on his ways. Realize people aren't machines, toys for him to play with. If he could use his talents to better Colorado, maybe that would be justice for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree with that to a certain extent. I think it is safe to say that Valor is not leadership material, much as Liberty and the Patriarch have stated, but a lot of this could have been avoided if he had just been given work that made him feel like he was important. Kid just needs direction.
Good luck out there.
Wait until Father hears how you've been mistreating me.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes.
Which way to the men's? Oh, never mind.
Don't worry about it, Scotchmo. We don't actually have any toilets in this base.
That's the Rangers.
Yes, Mrs. Wong. What can I do for you?
Was there an earthquake just now? My cats are all jumpy all of a sudden.
We have not had any reports of an earthquake, Miss Wong, and, you can't really be calling us every time your cats get jumpy.
My cats know what's going on. They know.
Yes, Miss Wong, I'm sure they do. Goodbye now.
A side note, I do like that every time we load back in, there seem to be more cats floating around. Major Tom's keeping himself busy. Alright, let's do this. A trim woman salutes you. She wears no identifying insignia on her combat fatigues.
Lieutenant Train Zhang, Rangers. I've brought a message from Angela Deth.
Are you an Arizona Ranger?
Yep. I bet we just miss each other back home. My husband Jason and I left California with Colonel Deth when she returned to AZ. Jason opened his gun shop at HQ and I signed on. Then Angela picked me for the Colorado Advance team and I've been here ever since. Missing Jason like crazy, but that's the life of a Ranger, right?
And your name is Train?
My real name is Connie. But my husband always calls me Choo Choo Train. Because my maiden name was Choo. Somehow, the other guys in my unit found out about this, and now everybody calls me Train. I'm getting used to it.
Okay, sure, and what's this about?
Colonel Deth has info for you that's too sensitive for the airwaves. She wants a face-to-face. Sent me to arrange it.
And why didn't Angie come to us herself?
She doesn't have much reason to trust you, does she? Despite her showing you the Patriarch's bad side, you're still following his orders. She's not going to put her head in the lion's mouth.
I'm beginning to think Angie has forgotten Arizona exists.
She hasn't forgotten. She just wants to help everybody. Anyway, if you want to meet her, it'll have to be on neutral ground.
Okay, what's the info?
Colonel Deth will give you the details, but Liberty Buchanan is getting ready to make her move on her father. And the army she's assembled, well, let's just say they're probably not going to be very worried about collateral damage. The Colonel has intel that will help you stop Liberty before she pulls the trigger.
I see. Where's this meeting supposed to take place?
The House of the Hoon family. Just your squad. Nobody else. Will you come?
No offense, but what guarantees we got that we're not going to get jumped when we get there?
You're probably not going to take her word as a ranger at this point.
Nope.
But think about it. You both want to stop Liberty Buchanan from starting her coup, right? Well, Angie wants to help you do that. So, she's got no reason to kill you. And if that's not good enough, how about I offer myself as a hostage? I'll stay here at your base until you hear her out. If anything happens to you, you can have your crew shoot me down. What do you say?
Yeah, I guess that would work. I mean, Angie seems perfectly willing to risk sacrificing the people of Arizona and Colorado, not to mention us, for her half-baked plan. But I don't really see her sacrificing her own people. She's actually got a lot in common with the Patriarch. They're both frustrated and desperate people trying to control an inherently chaotic world. Alright then, we'll go see her.
Thanks, Rangers. I'll be here until you get back.
Team November, we've got trouble. Scar collectors are attacking the perimeter at multiple points. We're coordinating the defense now, but we need all hands on deck.
Oh, my. Okay, on our way. Lieutenant Zhang, stay here and take cover.
Will do.
Looks like the final act starts with a bit of a bang. Let's see what we got out here.
Does it seem to you like...
Rangers, come out and play! Liberty says, thanks for dealing with her brothers. Now, deal with this. Lurch party!
Cock-a-doodle-doo! The chickens begin a strange and exotic dance. That's probably normal.
You can't see me!
Oh, man. And zoo crew deployed. I think that spike dozer is going to be our big threat here.
Right?
And we're on. First thing I should note is these guys are definitely a bit tougher than the playmates we've had for the past several episodes. It is nice to be back in a more appropriate weight class. That said, we are obviously going to crush them, but it's really just a matter of trying to keep the casualties to a minimum. Secondary side note, I finally realized that Pazephi's armor set actually gives her free access to combat stems, so I'm going to start taking advantage of that. Oh, and Third side note. I have made some upgrades to Morningstar. We don't have enough room for a cluster bomb here, so let's try out that new full borer.
Eat hot death, commies.
Not bad. I think that's actually a bit more manageable than that cone-based energy cannon we had. Let's start trimming the edges here. We want to take out targets that might pose a threat to our fellow rangers. Moving up. We need to take out that mine. Lovely. You know, looking at that thing, I think it's actually a, yeah, I think that's a repurposed aerator, which is pretty awesome, considering these guys are from Kansas. Yeah, might as well. I think at this point we've already taken out most of the high priority targets. Oh, except for those guys. And that. Alright. Let's get a distraction on the field. Now we'll just bring Rhett up. He's out of range, so we'll set him on Overwatch.
Not escape.
Lost a turret. Fantastic.
Beam of destruction.
No one can stop the Rangers. Taking the shot.
Somebody call the marshals!
Really? Can't say I'm terribly impressed with Poltron's performance out there, but it's fine. He's just not as hard-boiled as the rest of the zoo crew. He'll get there. Huh, okay. That move exists for the sole purpose of disabling vehicles, and this vehicle is too tough to be disabled. That really takes the bite out of a limited use ability. Well, back to brute force and bullets. Ain't no saving throw against that. Not sure if that's clipping Firefox or not. Let's hold. That guy's stunned anyway. Nice. Let's keep whittling the aerator. You know what? I just realized that thing is technically packing a tractor beam. I am not sorry.
We got
Somebody
this,
call the
Rangers.
marshals!
Take cover!
Somebody call the marshals!
Farm animals taking down an armored tractor. There's some dark post-apocalyptic poetry there. Everyone okay? I think Major Tom was just grousing because he didn't get the kill. Billy and Jean really have to start respecting the established pack hierarchy.
We did it!
Lovely. We lost one of our perimeter turrets, but no actual rangers. I'll call that a pretty solid win. Let's see if we got anything decent here. Just a bunch of vendor trash, but that's fine. We're right next to a couple of vendors, so I can immediately cash that stuff in. In fact, let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll take care of the healing, the inventory management and stuff off screen, and we'll pick up in just a second once we're ready to head back out. You don't want to keep Deth waiting. And we're back. Let's get this show on the road. The lights in the car come alive as you approach, pulsing softly. How you doing, Morningstar?
I am delighted. The garage is an impressive space, staffed with well-qualified personnel. It is a lot less lonely than where I was previously quartered.
Glad to hear it. Let's go for a ride.
Time to take some chances and expand man's horizons. I wonder if there will be conflict. There's no more exhilarating feeling than being shot at with no result.
On that, I think we can agree. Look at that. We really are getting towards the end game. We've just got these 2 chunks left to explore. And I think the bottom left is actually mostly just placeholders right now. Next time around, we might be able to fill the rest of this thing out. All right, November. On your guard. Oh. Camera got hijacked, but there's no one outside. Odd. I wonder if the Hoons have anything to say about this.
Some folks are here to see you, Rangers. One of them is waiting right over there.
Wow, okay. I mean, it's not much, but it's something. The reactivity is really kind of hit or miss in this game.
Colonel Deth will be along just as soon as I make sure you're all here. And you haven't brought along any unexpected guests. Can't be too careful these days, right?
Right.
Glad we have an understanding. Well, looks like everyone's here who's supposed to be here, so I'll give her a ring. 1 sec.
He puts his walkie to his mouth.
All clear. Come ahead.
Hey now, cowboys. Face to face at last. And just as handsome as I thought you'd be. Figured we'd meet here to remind you what being a ranger means. These folks are alive today because you chose to help them, even though it meant going against the Patriarch's orders. To my mind, that's the ranger way. Helping the helpless ahead of the powerful. Just something to keep in mind as you hear me out.
It looks like your facial scarring makes it difficult to open your mouth. You must be in constant pain. Would you like some meds?
Good eye, Doc. It's definitely put a hitch in my talk box. But no thank you. I got it under control. This and my fake leg are souvenirs from when my chopper got shot out of the sky over Long Beach, California. Good times. But, since you've obviously got the skills to use them, here, I got a few extra med kits on me. Try not to use them all at once.
Okay, well, we're here. Speak your piece.
Thank you, I will. Now, what with you not taking Saul's sons out like I asked, I'm guessing we've got different ideas about how things in Colorado should play out. But I'm still hoping you'll come around, November. So here's the deal. As my friends and I see it, 2 things gotta happen to save the people of Colorado from tyranny and slaughter. First, Liberty and the gang she's gathered out east have to be eliminated. And second... Shit! Scar collectors. Well, well. Speak of the devil and her minions shall appear. Looks like Liberty overheard our rendezvous call. Guess we'll have to deal with this before we continue.
Can't get me now, fucker!
Language. Oh, I see some familiar names here.
Your ass is grass.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you deserve this.
Zoo crew deployed. Poor guys.
I will have my revenge!
Will you?
We can handle this, right?
Yeah, we'll be fine. Come on, November. Let's show them how it's done. No Morning Star this time. Very nice.
Vengeance!
I don't think we actually need deployables this time, so let's just hollow out the center.
On their mods!
Getting a bit ahead of yourself there. And now you've lost it. Up top. We'll have to hope that mine doesn't do too much damage. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Scanning for pissants.
Ow.
Patriarch. I will take you down.
Not too shabby.
I will take you down. That was awesome.
As my friends and I see it, two things gotta happen to save the people of Colorado from tyranny and slaughter. First, Liberty and the gang she's gathered out east have to be eliminated. Second, and you're gonna love this, the Patriarch's gotta go too.
Oh boy. Time to draw some lines. Our orders were to help the Patriarch so he helps Arizona. Killing him kills the folks back home. How can you ask that?
I love the people of Arizona. Arizona is my home. But are you willing to save lives there at the expense of lives here? Are you okay sending home food spattered with innocent blood? The Rangers have fought tyranny since the beginning, without compromise. How can we continue to do that if we take handouts from a tyrant? How can we pretend we're heroes if we do his dirty work to get it?
Okay, hold on. I get where Angela's coming from, but she is painting a really rosy picture of the Rangers when they are a group that basically does nothing but make compromises for what they feel is the greater good. In the first game, they shot a kid. They shot the guy who tried to avenge the kid. They teamed up with the crime lord of Las Vegas. They wiped out the Guardians of the Citadel, a group that really just wanted to be left alone but had something the Rangers needed. Then in the second game, they teamed up with all sorts of tyrants. Kekaba, the Diamondback Militia, the Red Scorpions. I mean, Danforth was a monster.
Sorry, I had this argument with General Woodson 100 times. A sure deal was more important to him than a moral one. That's why the advance team went dark and decided to do this on our own. Of course, it turned out we couldn't do it on our own, which is why we were so happy when you showed up. And why we're here now, asking you for help.
Let's say, hypothetically, we were going to play along with this. What do you need?
Thanks for hearing me out. Let's talk about Liberty first. I've got to hand it to her. Daddy's little girl has done the impossible. She's united the boldest and baddest warlords of the Eastern Plains, and she's getting ready to lead them into Colorado. When she does, well, that'll be the end of this place. Every man, woman, and child from here to the Rockies will be killed, enslaved, or taken as a sacrifice, and their houses and towns burned to the ground. None of us want that, right?
Well, why wouldn't we work with the Patriarch to stop Liberty?
Oh, I don't mind about that, so long as you change your mind about him after. So?
Sure, fine. If you want to put it like that, I think we can both agree that we don't want Colorado wiped out by raiders.
Glad to hear it. So here's the plan. Originally, we hoped you'd help Cordite take control of the gangs again, so he could lead them all off to Kansas and his blood-soaked destiny. But since you dumb sons of bitches couldn't keep the man alive, that's not on the table.
I'm sorry, Angela. I must have misheard you, but did you just say that your plan was to strengthen the Plains gangs and then send them back to terrorize the people of Kansas? Pretty much the same exact plan that you were just criticizing the Patriarch for carrying out? But, please, continue.
I'm guessing our plan B is a lot like the Patriarch's plan A, with one minor difference. Daddy'll want you to go to Liberty's camp, get her warlords to kill each other, then bring her home for a stern talking to. We want all that too, except the part about bringing Liberty home. As far as we're concerned, you can put a little dirt over her and leave her there. Now, I'm guessing y'all have some questions.
Oh boy, do we. And you'd better have some damn good answers. Who are these people with you?
Pete and Brother Thomas came back with me from L.A., and Tax from Arizona. These others are locals who have various gripes against the Patriarch. We trained them up as best we could. Nicer bunch of folks you'll never find.
Why do you want us to do all this? Why aren't you doing it yourself?
Pretty simple, really. The Patriarch has spies watching Liberty's compound. If you show up, those spies will think you're there on Daddy's behalf, and they'll be happy to see you. If we show up, our plan is revealed, yeah? And that would give the marshals a chance to button up Colorado Springs before we make our attack. They'd be waiting for us.
I'm not sure that logic really tracks, but... Oh, look at that. They actually do have an option to bring up the sheer hypocrisy of her plan. I don't think that was there in the review copy I played last year. What's your plan for the Patriarch?
Now that's gonna be a fight. Basically, while you're taking care of Liberty, my team will be in Colorado Springs, softening the ground. Once you finish up out there, you'll come back and help us corner the man and bring him down. Our primary concern, other than ending the bloody reign of the Buchanans, is minimizing civilian casualties. That means you've got to ride herd on your crew and watch who you ally yourself with. We want to be the good guys here, so we've got to do this clean. Rape and pillage is a surefire way to turn people against their liberators.
Yeah? What do you plan to do for Colorado after you take down the Patriarch?
Keep the peace, keep things fair. I don't see the Rangers running things. I see our job as keeping the playing field even. There's always a lot of weasels that come out of the woodwork after a big man falls, trying to grab a piece of the pie. So we're just gonna hang around, and every time a weasel pops their head up, we'll whack 'em. At the same time, Whenever somebody comes along who tries to take care of the people, all the people, we'll help them out. But we ain't gonna be anybody's muscle. We'll answer to the people, nobody else.
So, the Rangers will play Kingmaker. They'll get to decide who takes power.
I admit that'll be a temptation, but we're gonna try to fight against it. I don't know what a good leader is gonna look like, but I sure as hell know what a bad one looks like. Weedin' the garden. That's what we'll be doing. Just weedin' the garden.
How exactly is this any different from what you're accusing the Patriarch of? Paying off the Eastern gangs to go raid other states?
Well, for one thing, we ain't paying the man. We ain't actively funding murder the way old Saul is. And second, despite Cordite's destiny, my guess is he goes back to Kansas and him and his rivals all wipe each other out, leaving the whole territory a more peaceful place.
Well, I mean, the man's dead, so that's obviously not going to happen now, if it ever was. As with many aspects of this plan, she really seems to be playing it fast and loose with the lives of thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of people. I mean, look, I get it. Like I said earlier, she and the Patriarch, there's actually some really interesting parallels there. They're both people with grand ideas and lofty ideals, which don't really line up with the way the world is in the post-apocalypse. They're getting on in years, they're faced with their own mortality, and now they're getting frustrated and desperate, lashing out, trying to exert their will on a world that just won't cooperate with what they want it to be. And in both cases, it causes a lot of collateral damage. Except in one case. The Patriarch has already built his infrastructure. He's already made all those sacrifices to get his system to more or less work. On the other hand, you've got Angela, who basically wants to tear down that system and then essentially replace it with exactly the same system, with a few minor changes. We would essentially be the marshals, and we would decide who the next Patriarch would be. The whole idea of smacking down people who pose a risk to our agenda while promoting the people who support it really just kind of smacks of the Patriarch system all over again, just with less deliberate forethought. Okay, I think we've got an answer for you.
All right then, what's it gonna be?
Thanks for the info, but we're still siding with the Patriarch like Ranger Command told us to. No. We're not buying it. Your plan sounds destined to fail, and a lot of people could be hurt if it does.
More than are being hurt now? Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm gonna give you Liberty's location anyway. No matter what future we want, she's gotta be stopped, right? All I ask is, when you're finally standing face to face with her, please at least consider dealing with her our way and put a bullet between her eyes. Everything else we talked about, well, let your conscience be your guide.
Good luck, cowboys. We'll talk again when Liberty's taken care of.
Well, she certainly took that better than I thought she would. That's something. Of course, we'll have to be on our guard. There's no telling what she might try to do once Liberty is at stake.
Much obliged.
All right, let's see what we got out here. Ooh, nice. Mostly vendor trash, but the EMP cylinder's nice. I'm actually going to pop over to Denver right after I finish recording. Get our guys set up with some nice, shiny chrome. Long overdue.
So you and Ms. Deth are acquainted? She seemed nice enough, except for that business about taking down the Patriarch.
You don't agree with her?
Angus and me, we've been around long enough to know that change ain't always good. In fact, it's usually bad for a whole lot of people, especially simple folks like us. The Patriarch ain't perfect. We know that. But he's keeping us safe for 50 years. Now your friend wants to gamble that she can do better? And if she's wrong, it's the regular folks who are gonna get hurt or killed. Guess that's how we see it, anyway. No hard feelings, I hope.
No hard feelings. It is nice to actually get some perspective from the people who, as they said, are most likely to be affected by this cluster.
Best of luck and stay alive.
Thanks. All right, folks. I think this brings us to a good stopping point for now. It's been a fairly eventful episode. Met a bunch of new faces, found out a bunch of valuable new intel, not to mention the dual ambushes, and an unlikely new ally. Plus, of course, we are now well and truly into the endgame scenario, though I suspect we've still got at least 5 or 6 more episodes ahead of us. Anyway, we will hit the pause button for now. I'll go get our guys chromed up, take care of a little more trading and prep work, and we will pick up here next time as we head down south, fill out the rest of the world map, tie up a few last loose ends, and then take on Liberty and the Eastern Plains gangs. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media links, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, feel free to push any of the buttons that do the things, or maybe even go check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Glad we have an understanding.